So I was always a little bit like rebellious as to the norm that everyone else was living, and always super sensitive, kind of like even really young was almost like motherly to my friends. So it's kind of like where it started. And then I discovered some like random, very old, like tattered and torn tarot deck in one of our like boxes somewhere in the closet. And I was like, what is this?
Welcome to Fortune and Romance with your host Taylor Fortune and
B.A. Shay. Good, and you?
Today on the podcast we have Leigh, a psychic and a Reiki healer. Casey, how are you doing today?
I'm amazing. How are you guys?
So good. I'm so good. I just got back from LA where Taylor is right now, so I had one heck of a week, and it was something to talk about, and I can't wait to be back there because I feel like it's my home away from home.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible. Here, I'll give you one example of how much fun we had. I leave these girls on Melrose to go like boutique shopping. And I don't want to go. I'm a guy. I know they're gonna like go into every store and take forever. So I do the gentlemanly thing, drop them off. I go grab a coffee. I'm drinking my coffee in my car, deciding what I'm gonna do while they're shopping, and I get a phone call that they've now been discovered as models and they're going to a photo shoot at a store, and a designer is gonna deck them out, take them to the photography studio in the back room with a real professional Hollywood photographer, and there they are. They're going to be plastered all over the store when the images are developed. I'm like, I leave you guys alone for 1 hour, and you're now models?
Can't leave you guys unattended just for a minute.
It was just for a minute, honestly. But the best part is it goes toe to toe with what we're doing, Taylor. You know what I mean? Our future thing, and the tarot and everything, and the images. It just kind of went hand in hand.
Yeah.
And Taylor, let's just tell her down below here, right here. Let's just tell her that you jumped in as well. And what were you wearing in the shoot when you walked in?
Oh yeah, I had like hashtag Xerxes vibes, from like 300. They adorned me. Oh yeah, it was like Egyptian pharaoh attire, possibly. With a splash of, gatum and gold chains, very small revealing underwear, but it was hidden beneath, a bottom piece, you might want to call it. But it was wild. I felt godly. Let's say that.
Obviously, every guy that feels godly wears assless chaps,
Yeah. That's how you do it. Yeah, for sure. What else would you do?
I know, right? It was fun. Oh, and the first thing, we almost forget about the first thing because the second thing was so overshadowed by its like Egyptian vibe. But remember like the black cape and the rock star pit, like it was kind of like a demonic look.
Yeah.
That was dope.
Yeah, you definitely looked like a vampire.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a vibe.
It was such a vibe. It was such a vibe.
When the pictures come out, you're going to be like, whoa.
I can't wait now. I mean, you guys are hyping it up, so now I can't wait to see these.
Yeah. It's worthy of hype. It's worthy. I was impressed, and I was part of it because I walked into it before I was part of it. I'm like, whoa, this is going down in here. Like, this is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, right. I got to get in on this. Like, how can I be a part of this?
Oh, and the two guys, they West Hollywood. They're like, oh, girl, yeah, he's in.
Yeah, they're very impressed with Taylor's undercarriage. There.
Oh my god! Yeah. What is it? A whole different world out there? Is that like I'm just missing something?
Where are you from? You're from Boston too?
Yeah.
The answer's a hard yes.
Okay, got it. I'll book my flight tomorrow.
Oh my god.
It is so insane. It's just I felt like I was in just like another world is the only way I could describe it. Like just the whole. It's like Hollywood. It's really what it is. I mean, obviously Hollywood has a name for itself right now. I mean, once you're awakened to the bullshit of Hollywood, it is what it is. When you know. But it still was cool to see it. You know what I mean? Even after I'm awakened to Hollyweird,
Yeah.
That's a good point, actually, because I feel like it is really a different world, but like being in a spiritual community gives you another edge where it makes it a little more interesting going to places like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would kind of simply describe it in spiritual terms, there's two frequencies going on here. You know, one that's high vibrational and one that's low vibrational. And the high vibrational, you know, like in the entertainment industry, different world. So you're in the entertainment industry, so you have to take it on those terms. You know, you're not dealing with astrologers, energy healers, tarot readers, Wiccans, or anything like that. You're dealing with industry, insiders, fashion, modeling, you know, designer clothes, all that kind of stuff. But in that world, if you tap into the right people, it can be extremely exciting. It can be extremely like intoxicating. Very cool people just at the top of their game because they're living in Hollywood doing what they do, and they do it for movies, they do it for celebrities, all that kind of stuff. The lower vibration is pretty obvious. It's like the people that are trying to get there but can only do it through like that kind of vampirical energy where like, you know, the exploitation, control, lies, predatory manipulation, all of that kind of stuff.
It's really interesting that you can have such polar opposites in the same area. I would imagine that there's kind of like a strange feeling of tension almost being in some areas, maybe. That's just the way it seems as you're describing it, at least.
There is. The tension is palpable here because there's so much drive. There's so much desire. There's so much longing in this town. You know what I mean? Like you can go through the streets of like Des Moines, Iowa, or whatever. Just people are living life. But in LA, everyone who is here outside of like menial workers, but them too, even like everybody who's here is chasing a dream, and most people are transient. They're from somewhere else. So it's kind of like the cherry-picked, popular or ambitious or best-looking people from all over the country come to LA to you know, test their mettle and see if they have what it takes to make it in like a pressure cooker. But there's not enough resources or fame to go around for everyone, so it's like there's that Lord of the Flies kind of undercurrent to like who's gonna make it.
Oh, it's so interesting. I'm over here, so I wouldn't know. It's freezing and the total opposite vibes.
I'm with you, girl. I'm in Boston too, so I'm like over here. Like I walked my dog earlier, and I'm like, all right, Rocky, like your walk is gonna be cut very short because mommy's freezing right now.
You're like, okay, keep going.
Right. Well,
keep going.
We should mention we did have a cold front while BA was here, so it got down to 59 degrees. So it was pretty brutal. So we needed, you know, blankets. We needed coats.
Everything. Yeah, right. Layer those on. Meanwhile,
yeah, it was 59 degrees was rough. You know, they're emergency vehicles.
it's so funny because it's the opposite. Like today, I think it was like 15 or 14 when I got up, and I was like, oh, I'm debating not going to work.
Yeah.
Like bad.
Right. Well, let's throw it back to you, Casey. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Psychic, very cool. Reiki, love it. Where do you want to start?
It's so funny because everything kind of happened to me all at once. So sometimes, like when I get asked, like, like tell us about you, I'm like, God, I mean, which point do I start at?
Let me help you. So psychic energy, very cool, very sexy. It's, you know, people love. Well, it's an evergreen subject. People are always fascinated by it. So tell us about the early years as a child being psychic. Like, what did that feel like? How did you know? Whose minds were you reading? What were you seeing?
So it's interesting because if you are a psychic, I kind of group them into two categories. So you get the first group, which is you grow up as a child, you're very like sensitive and maybe you're seeing like spirits or you're seeing entities and things like that. Then you have the other group where you're maybe just more empathetic, or you're just really sensitive and kind of a little bit like hyper aware. So I was like the hyper aware kid, and I grew up in a pretty like tumultuous household. It was a little rough. So growing up, I was always just a little bit more of like an old soul. Like the way that life was, like the hierarchies or like these social norms to me never made sense. I didn't want to go to school as a kid because I was like, this is stupid. Like I was like, I don't understand like the way they set it up. Yeah, like what am I gonna do with this? Like, and I'm like, why do I need to know algebra? Like, I don't want to do any of this. So I was always a little bit like rebellious as to the norm that everyone else was living, and always super sensitive. Kind of like even really young, was almost like motherly to my friends. So it's kind of like where it started. And then I discovered some like random, very old, like tattered and torn tarot deck in one of our like boxes somewhere in the closet, and I was like, what is this? My mom's like, oh, that's a tarot deck, you know, I had that when I was younger. And I was like, okay.
Do you know which deck it was?
It wasn't anything that I, like, knowing now, like all the decks that I have, wasn't anything I've ever seen before. It was
Yeah.
so old. It was smaller than normal too. It looked almost like a mini deck.
Yeah.
No booklet, no nothing. I don't even know if all the cards
Just a
were
mystery
there.
deck.
Yeah.
It came from the doldrums. There it was, you know, from some other
I'm like,
dimension.
and then for whatever reason, like, I was like, can I have it? She was like, I guess. Yeah, like, sure. So I took it to school. I thought it was like so cool. And then I just started like playing around with it. And then I put it down for a really long time and I never thought about it ever again. It was just something when I was a kid, and then just poof, no recollection of ever even doing it. And then growing up, I'd say probably like earlier 20s, started to get more into that. I'm 30 now. And I was like, oh, like, I'm going through a really terrible time. Like, I should reach back out for these things because I'm seeing other people around me kind of dive into it a little bit too. So bringing out like little crystals, getting some candles, like doing some stuff like that. And I really identify with like more like Wiccan or like a witchcraft type of vibe for say the first like 1 or 2 years.
Me too.
And then yeah, that's like where it starts, I think,
Yeah.
because you have this power that's behind it about like I can kind of create something that I want, which was great because as being a kid, you know, I didn't want to do the norm. So that was a really enticing part of it. And then later, probably 27 up until, you know, now, that's where it really just took off. Life changed really drastically. And then I started almost like the ascension process of realizing these things or seeing weird numbers. And then it all kind of hit me at once. Pandemic, started TikTok, and then was like, I'm going to take clients. And now here I am. I just kept going with the tarot after I picked it back up. And yeah, it's just evolved and it keeps evolving, which is the beautiful part about it. So
Love it.
I love you. You're so cute. Oh my God.
thanks.
No, and she has a serious gift too. Like when I went to our friend Joanna's house that lives right down the street from me, like I had met her and we were all just kind of chilling. Like I think it was like a Monday or something. It wasn't anything like I don't even know. It was like a weekday. Like, you know, we all like don't do, you know, we're outside of the matrix. We all like have like, you know, our own thing going on. So we're all just like in her living room. And it was just like dope. We're just like making bracelets. We had like the tarot cards. Like I randomly had a high school boyfriend. Do you remember this? Call me on too. Like professing his love to me, and I'm like, "Who are you?" It was whack. Like the energy was insane, and we're all just like laughing about it because our energy was so strong. It was bringing back like people from the dead. It's not.
Yeah, just rising up. Yep. You were like, "Who is this?" I was like, "Oh man, you got to answer that."
Yeah, they were getting a kick out of it. I'm like, oh my God. And then it kind of registered to me that this was like a legitimate high school boyfriend of mine. He's like, I'm in love with you. I don't know what's going on. I'm like, oh, dude, I haven't like thought of you like in like 25 years or whatever. No, not 25, like 20.
Yeah, but ancient.
15 years ago, okay?
Yeah. Where did he come from with that? Was it just fucking Instagram, Facebook, or what?
I want to say that he reached out to me. I think it was on, Casey, I'm trying to remember. I think it was like Facebook Messenger, one of the messengers. I don't know.
Messenger on Facebook, yeah. Because I remember that, like, whatever the sound was, it's like, you know, yeah. So I remember being like, are you getting a call on Facebook? What are you doing? You're like, I don't even want to answer this.
It was the most bizarre thing. It has happened to me in a super long time. And then it just, after that, like, he kind of, you know, spoke his feelings. He, like, let it out. And then I didn't hear from him after that. I'm kind of happy about that because I was a little nervous for his, like, well-being, you know? But, yeah. It just goes to show you that people that, you know, maybe, like, had a thing for you in, like, high school or back in the day, you know, they're still watching you now. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Absolutely. Well, when you're doing well for yourself, too. Like, I feel like word gets around, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I have a little bit to say on that. So this is pretty interesting because after I got divorced a few years ago, I changed my identity for exactly that reason. So, you know, I wasn't born Fortune. Yeah, I was born fortunate, but not Taylor Fortune. So I changed my last name for my business, and it uprooted every single person that I'd been, you know, dragging along on social media for the past 15 years, since the dawn of friggin' MySpace or what, you know what I mean? It was nice to get that reboot. And on Facebook, you know, I was magnanimous. I followed back a couple high school people that slipped through the cracks and managed to find, you know, the new Taylor. But really, like, I mean, we're talking people from like old jobs and shit. They were gone, just gone, you know. And on Instagram, high school never found me on there. You know, that was a pure business site. So that was extremely liberating because I could come out the gate with an entirely, not even like a new personality. I've always been the same person, but a more evolved and very professional, spiritual, business running type person, you know, public figure, you know?
Yes.
Without all the baggage of like, oh, you're doing that now or whatever, or like, you know, the stalkers who were like, well, there's stalkers out there, but you know, the old ones. Now there's new stalkers, all right? So that's just entirely different.
Like scammers and stalkers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Yeah.
The scammers are out in full effect right now. They're relentless.
Oh,
yeah, it's really bad. Right.
Yeah.
For me too, right now it's been really aggressive. A friend of mine just got hacked on both platforms same week, like back to back, on TikTok and Instagram. I think I have like 2 or 3 on Instagram. I have like 7 on TikTok. I'm just like, so I'm over it, to be honest. I'm like,
yeah.
I can't. And I have to like make videos constantly to be like, it's not me. Like, please don't give these people money. I'm begging you. Please,
Right.
like, that's not how I talk. Like, I don't say love and light to people. Like, don't fall for that, please.
The other day, I got one. My ancestors, you know, told me to reach out to you, and they said, "Would you like a reading?" So, you know, I'm pretty smart. I'm like, "Oh, I would. I charge $50 for it." and she said, "Okay, when would you like to book it?" I'm like, oh, "Anytime. Just pay me $50 anytime." And she said, "That sounds great." And then sent me like all this, you know, information for how to pay her. And then at that point, I just wrote like, I think I wrote, "You fucking idiot," and then I blocked her.
Yes, 100%. Like,
Yeah.
at some like, come on. Like, I don't know who's falling for that still, but still, like, I mean, I try my best, even though it's not necessarily my responsibility, but you don't want people to fall for that. Like, you feel bad.
Right.
Of course. They think they're getting a badass reading from you, and then they're not getting anything from these scam artists. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's so sad too. Like, especially like there are people who, I mean, hundreds of dollars. I've heard of them just like, oh, breaks my heart, because then then they come to me and they're like, hey, we were supposed to like set something up. And I was like, girl, no, it wasn't me. I'm so sorry.
It's crazy because I've learned the way that they do it is so if somebody adds me, like it happened to you, Taylor, I mean, a multitude of times, but they'll change like one little letter in the name and then they'll upload all the same posts in one day.
Yeah, same
That's
day.
how you know.
Right, but there aren't people looking for it. That's the thing, is that like for whatever reason, I mean, when I see people, I'm going through, like, I'm like, if it has a weird like number to it, I'm like, oh, that seems kind of odd. Like, I feel like this wouldn't be a backup account, all uploaded in the same day, like no hashtags, no captions, no nothing, just like out the gate, everything that they have all in one day.
Yeah.
Exactly. Hello, my beloved. I've come here to share a reading with you. What?
Yeah.
My God, I can't do it. It drives me fucking crazy. I try to be nice, but I'm like, oh my God, I get one more email sometimes. I'm like, guys, let's have a powwow. Like, that's what I want to do. I want to be like, look for this, and look for this, please.
Right.
Yeah, because your TikToks are kick ass. I'm not on TikTok all the time, but when I do go on or whatever, my whole feed, I don't know how they do the feed, but it's all for me, like spirituality and meditation and things like that. It like, however TikTok does it, the algorithms, I think it's called.
Yeah.
It is dope. I'm like, I love this feed. Sometimes I can't stop scrolling and stuff, you know? And then I see your stuff, I'm like, she's a baddie. Like, I love it. You're very in tune with the universe. I love it.
I try to do my best. I think the algorithm, it's so different per like person, and now there's a huge thing going around right now that they're suppressing a lot of content for intuitives or psychics, tarot people, astrology even. Like, they did a whole new update where they're just going to be suppressing a ton of stuff. So I'm curious to see how that plays out.
How
But
do you know that? Where did you hear they're going to be suppressing a whole ton of spiritual stuff?
It's in the update. You have to like read the fine print in the update, and they say very specifically that they're going to the way they word it is like they're not going to push, they're not going to suppress, but they're not going to push certain content specifically, and they kind of group it under like religious when it comes down to like witchcraft, Wiccan, like
or
that's how they
pseudopsychology, by the way. Pseudopsychology is a heavily red flagged industry when it comes to social media, because of the word pseudo. So, or pseudoscience also, you know what I mean? So, that's always something that they deem, you know, fake news.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Facts. Literally that. Yes.
But like, you know, this is BA and I, plus Sarah, will give everybody credit. We've been talking about this for the past 6 months because we are seeing the sinking ship that is social media. And, you know, if you want to be in, you know, better spot in another 6 months or in a year from now, like everybody has to start preparing right now, because all the people who are booking clients exclusively through Instagram or have this, you know, massive platform on their lives and all that, hacks are coming, shadow banning's coming, like the whole system. And I don't mean the system isn't like the fucking government, but I mean that just the social media system is going to be censored and suppressed, and they've already started it. So you have to have some kind of exit plan, and whether that's YouTube or OnlyFans or fucking Parlor, it doesn't matter, but like you have to be able to bounce around between different platforms to stay afloat, you know?
Yeah. Oh, it's coming down to that point where you just have to, like, it can't be a preference, I don't think, anymore.
Yeah.
Like, just because everything is getting, you know, a little weird. So I've been trying to just like get into the live. So I go live on TikTok every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. And I go in and I'm like, I give my spiel. I'm like, if you guys, you know, don't want to lose contact with me, you want to keep up with me, like follow me here, go find me here. Like I started working on a Patreon for that reason. Like, hey, we'll do the lives over there if we have to, because, you know, you build more of a community with this type of stuff.
Yeah.
That's smart. Patreon is like one of the probably the smartest things that you can do. I definitely agree with that. I'm subscribed to like I think 3 different Patreons from some great tarot readers that I follow on YouTube. They just relate to me. I feel like I relate to them, and all their stuff that they post is like $10 a month, I think it is. So $30, you know, it's worth it to me because they're just very in tune with me, and then they can talk to me through Patreon, and they can post different things that they're not allowed to post on YouTube, and it just kind of is cool, you know?
I agree. I think that's a good one. Patreon, and I created a Discord, which a lot of people do, like connected through Patreon, because like that was the whole big thing for me, is that when I started doing all this stuff and I had no idea what was going on, I thought I was going fucking, you know, loopy. I was like, who do I go to? Like, who do I ask? You know, I didn't have a community. So the main goal when I started this was like, I want a community for you guys to ask me questions. Like, I'm not gatekeeping stuff from you. Like, I don't want you guys to not be able to find me. Like, you know, I try not to outright be like, hey, anybody DM me, but I can still, you know, be like, hey, if you really have a question, you can't find anything else anywhere, like, I'll get back to you as soon as I can, because I just want to be able to give that to you. I'm not going to leave you hanging.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
When you said you're going loopy, I'm assuming you're talking about the spiritual awakening experience.
Oh, it was, God, yeah. I was like, I'm crazy. Like, I'm going crazy. Like, there's no other explanation.
Give us the full report.
I love to hear other people's spiritual awakening, because I thought I was going nuts for so long, so I want to hear your story.
Okay. It's so funny. Like, every time someone's like, where'd you start? I roll my eyes and they're like, oh, and I'm like, yeah. So it was like everything all at once. So like, you know, I kind of felt like I was going in some direction that I just didn't want. Like, I didn't know exactly where I wanted to go, but I knew I didn't want to be where I was. Yeah. And, you know, in those moments you kind of feel like, well, I guess I'm just like floating along until, you know, something comes. Well, I asked, I don't really pray, but I was like, I kind of would talk to like my grandmother who's passed and be like, all right, like, you show me the way. Okay, let me know. And I think it was, I was talking to someone about it today, actually, in a coaching course that I was taking. And I was like, very specifically, October to November of 2016. She was like, oh, that's real specific. I'm like, oh yeah, I could never forget it. Everything happened at once. So my boyfriend at the time showed up to my house randomly out of the blue. I was in school, and he just showed me like a Snapchat, like a picture of my living room. And I was like, what are you doing in my home? And he was like, oh, I wanted to like see you before I went to school. And I'm like, odd, because you don't do that. So he was there to break up with me. I get home, he breaks up with me. Shortly after that, you know, you're depressed. So I flunked out of all my classes. I did have one really nice professor that helped me make up some of my credits. So it wasn't a total loss, but flunked out of classes. Shortly after that, I lost my job. And then, I mean, weeks apart from each other, all of these. And then after that, I got evicted because I didn't, you know, handle it like I probably should have. And I didn't know what to do. I was miserable, couldn't leave bed. And, you know, I already have PTSD. So it's just like this amplified feeling of, I already didn't know where I was or where I was going. And now I really have no fucking clue. So it all just everything blew up in my face. And I was like, I have no idea like what to do. And I was laying on the couch one day, and I think I heard something, like someone call my name, and I was like, like, is someone in my house? Like, I thought maybe my ex came back to like grab something because his stuff was there. And I'm like, I get up, no one outside. Okay, like there's no one. I don't understand. So I actually texted Joanna, and I was like, am I crazy right now? And she was like, oh no, like your grandfather's around you because, you know, what's going on? He's probably there helping you or protecting you or whatever. And I was like, all right, weird. And that's kind of where things started. Then the numbers 111, 444, all the time, every day. I was like, okay, is anyone else seeing this, or is it just me? Like, is it anybody?
It's crazy. It's mind blowing. It's like you see it on the license plates. You see it on the time. Every time you look at the time, it's like I feel like I'm bombarding. I'm in a group chat with my soul family. And like, Taylor, how many times did I do it on vacation?
Oh my God, it's countless. I'm
like, it's 111, 333, 555. Look at the license plate. He's like, dude. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry to interrupt you. I just had to jump in
too. But yeah, keep going.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. That's exactly the same exact thing every day, all the time. And then you start doing the research, and then you kind of go down, a rabbit hole is like what I call them. And so at that point, then I started to notice that like I was getting by on like less food, like less sleep. Like I felt like I was just not me anymore. Like it was almost like I like cracked the code, like, like out of the matrix, so to speak. It was like level 1 complete. And I was like, okay. So like getting up every day at like 4 a.m. for no reason, and just my body being like, you have to go sit by the water, you have to go to the water, you have to go. And I mean, water for me now, knowing what I know, is cleansing and purifying, and water for me holds memory. So it's kind of like being rebirthed in a way, which actually was a channeled message I did on live recently. It was the same thing, and I was like, man, that really reminds me of my awakening. So I just would get up 4 a.m., drive down to this park, sit at the water hours all morning long, and I would just sit there, like not doing anything. I mean, just maybe headphones in. I would just sit there and stare off for hours. And then, after that point, things kind of started to like lighten up. I was like, okay, I kind of understand. But that was like the beginning of everything for me, where it just everything shifted and changed.
Wow.
Yeah, it was rough.
It
was not fun.
We talk about this on the show all the time, and I'll give it right back to you in just a sec, but like how trauma is always the trigger for the spiritual ascension, spiritual awakening. A lot of times relationships, me, BA, both of us, but you have the floor, BA. Tell us a little bit about that.
No, I the same thing happened to me. I've always known as a child that I was definitely different than everyone else, and I just never really fit in. I tried to fit in with like the cool crowd growing up, and I felt like I was just like overexerting myself trying to get into these little groups of like the cheerleaders, the this, the that, and I'm like, no one ever just really, I didn't fit in, and I'm just like, there's something like more to life, right? And that was at a very young age. So then as I got older, I'm like, I still don't fit in with anyone. I'm like, I still don't fit in with anyone. It's like I'm just like my own little, I like my space. I don't like, I'm very extreme. I'm like, I don't know, it's maybe my a lot of Scorpio in my chart. Like I go out, I'll be the party girl, but then like I love just being in my own space. I call it the BA hole. I'm just like, I go in, I meditate.
We call it the BA hole.
Yeah. I go in my BA hole, I meditate, I charge my crystals, I talk to my ancestors, I do a lot of different things for my own personal growth. So I think leading into my awakening was my ending of my really traumatic abusive relationship with my ex of 2.5 years. It was really mentally abusive. It was really just a lot. And, I'm just so happy I'm on the other side of the fence right now, because after that, I just really grew into who I am as a person. And I learned, what I'll deal with, what I won't deal with. And my confidence level went from 0 to 100 because I worked on myself. Working on yourself is not easy. I will tell you that. I had no self-worth when I left that relationship. I felt like I was not worthy of love. I felt like I should just crawl in a hole and you know what. Like I just was like all set with the rest of my life. And after that, I just started working on myself, and I started just really focusing on positive intentions and reversing the way that I talked to the universe. Like if I needed something because I had no car, be like, you know what? I would visualize the car that I wanted, and I would get that car. It wasn't overnight. but it was constant manifestation, visualization of, and I'd go to the dealership with no money, and I would drive that car, and I'd visualize myself having that car, and maybe 6 to 8 months later, just a random example, because I think that was around how long it took me to get the car that I had before, I would have that car. And I couldn't explain why, but it was gratitude. And I was thanking God, and I was saying, thank you for getting me out of this relationship. Thank you for giving me another day in this earth. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then I just started waking up and praying. It sounds funny, but just saying thank you to whoever you believe, like, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, me too. Very similar. Always one step ahead of myself in a way, like BA was saying, going to a car dealership, buying shit you can't afford, but things that you really want, and not materialistically. Like, you know, I got my motorcycle at a time when I just needed it. My old bike had like seized up, and like I'm just a diehard motorcycle person. I saw it on Craigslist. It was like a good price, but I had nothing. But I'm like, I need it. I'll never have like the balls or the drive to buy it again if I don't get this right now. And I did it on credit, and like it was a gamble. And then same thing 2 years later with the car that I wanted, because the car that I had was from my previous marriage, and it was saturated in that energy, you know, which yeah, we all know about things like that. But then like little things, like every time I'd buy something for my business, because I'm not a materialistic person. I don't buy clothes or anything like that. So I don't wear clothes. But, you know,
Taylor wears black t-shirts, the same black t-shirt all the time. I almost stole one of his t-shirts when I was at his house, actually, but he noticed it. I was pissed.
I have 8 of them. I have 8, and I don't want 7 because 8 is enough. I think 8 is enough as a TV show. Anyway, okay. Yeah. But so all I buy is shit for my business. I'm like, okay, I need to get a new interface for the podcast, or I need to get new monitors, whatever the fuck. So I'd always buy that stuff on a credit card, just, you know, off Amazon, or, you know, maybe Craigslist or whatever if I had the cash for it. But I never knew how I would be able to pay anything back. And then all of a sudden, like that week, more clients would book, or like, you know, whatever, or some like rando. I got like a forgiveness from some loan for $7,000 for like a predatory college that they finally forgave 8 years later. And you know, it's just weird. I've never, how do I put it? In the past 3 years, I've never received more money in my life than just, there was like the COVID stimulation, just all kind of shit. Just money was just coming in from weird ass places.
Yeah. That's perfect. I mean, well, that's the whole thing too, is I think like it is the gratitude, like you were saying, you know, that's the biggest part about it, is that when you're doing it, gratitude and being able to rewire your brain. And I talk about rewiring the subconscious a lot with my clients, is like, you know, if I can go back and do a past life session, I like to do that with them first, like to be like, where are those blocks? Because I want to pull them out, and I want you to change that. Now that you're aware of it, that's half the battle, change it. So as soon as we can pull that out and you say, wow, I do this every time this happens to me, you know, I don't want you to do that anymore. Instead of getting up and being like, oh, I want you to get up and be like, oh, fuck yes. Like another day that I get to do whatever I love, you know?
Right.
It's huge.
That's huge. One of the things that's really big for me is I have a mantra I say every day. It's written on my phone. I don't even have it memorized. I probably like subconsciously do have it memorized, but I just read it off my phone. And this is an interesting point I want to make about manifestation, intention setting, witchcraft, all that stuff that people, you know, these buzzwords that some people are terrified of. It's not that complicated, guys. Don't fucking over-intellectualize this stuff. It's very fluid. It's very natural. It's reading off your iPhone notes a mantra. And what is a mantra? It is a spell. What is a spell? Shit that you spelled, something that you wrote out that you're reading back to yourself. That's the origin of the word. The grimoire comes from the word grammar, motherfuckers. It's just writing. That's all. It's just writing. All right. That's how spell casting works. We're casting words into the universe.
People think it's like the movie The Craft. They're like, oh, we're doing like Lars the First, Stroke as a board, Lars Feather. Like, no, it's not like that. Relax.
Yeah, good movie. But yeah, very.
I do love that movie.
But exactly. So every day on my iPhone, I just read that little, you know, couple paragraphs in my notes out loud of gratitude or manifestation, whatever, you know, whatever they are. But they're the thoughts are mundane. They're not overly spiritual. They're not overly intellectual. They're like, I am thankful for the things I have. You know, it's about abundance. It's about, you know, love, those kind of things.
I mean, it's also simplicity, I think, too. Like, I definitely have a tendency myself to like overthink, like overcomplicate for no reason. And so I've started shifting the way that like I journal or write like mantras or affirmations to be like, I don't need to write these like grammatically correct sentences. Like I can just literally bullet point, like grateful for this today, or like love that, you know, A++. Like, you know what I mean? As long as it speaks to you, like just keep doing it.
Right?
Facts. Go ahead, Taylor.
Oh, I was just going to say, you know who gets it? The fucking gods get it. The gods get it. They're pretty smart.
Oh, absolutely.
They're not impressed by ornate writing. They just want to know, like, what the fuck do you want, dude?
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
That's so true. It's facts. I was looking to the left because I'm in my home office right now. I was looking to the left and I totally forgot I wrote this down. So next to my grandmother's card for in loving memory of my grandmother, I don't know if you guys can see it because of my stupid background. I'll just read it. Fine. It says, January 1st, I'm manifesting $500,000 this year. Goal. Like, I just write little things around my everyday, wherever I go. I go to my office every morning to do everything that I'm doing for work. And I look to my left and it's always on my computer. Like, I write down manifestations all around my house. People will be like, there's something wrong with you, you lunatic. But you never know.
No, write it down. And then, I mean, get like, I get like colorful sticky notes. That way I have a different one in different places, you know, so that way you jazz it up, like on the bathroom mirror, or like I have this whole space here on, in front of my desk that I want to like put some notes on and put up a little like cork board and stuff. So it's like keeping that is so important. And like people don't understand that, you know, your energy is way more important than what you're saying. Like, don't get caught up in how it sounds or what you're writing. I want you to feel it like deeply. That's a big thing I think that gets looked over with manifestation, is how deeply do you feel it? Can you attach to that emotion and what you're going to feel like when you get it?
Yeah. Do you really believe it? It's time to ask yourself what you believe.
You know? 100%. Do tell.
Yes. I think, and certain things hit a lot harder than others. Like BA and I have been tapping into a certain project that we're just like, you know, our faith is firing on all cylinders for it. So we're pretty excited. And there's other things, and this is actually a very important thing too. There's other things that I've done where I was less confident in it. And those kind of things, your confidence or your faith in a certain project, collaboration, whatever it is, those are indicators. Those are psychic indicators. Those are intuitive indicators, you know, and they are guides that are telling you what is, you know, vibrationally exalted and what is vibrationally lower level, debased, you know, or not for you. Yeah. And we got to listen to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's huge. I think like they talk about this a little bit. I'm not a human design like extraordinaire, but
yes, you are.
Yeah, you are.
Not human design. Girl, I can't understand the language they write that in, but to the people who are into it, good for you. You're killing it.
Yeah.
But like the main thing that they talk about is like you have an authority. So whatever your like profile is, you have like 2 numbers, like -4/6, you know. And so that talks a little bit about the life path I'm going to take. And then you have an authority, which is basically what chakra and what part of your body are you pulling your energy from. Yeah. And it really helped open my eyes to like all the things I said yes to that I didn't want to do. No wonder why I didn't accomplish them, or I didn't, you know, get anywhere, not even a little bit. Like all the things I've paid for to try to, I'll do this or I'll do that because this is the way I'm going to be, you know, abundant or successful, or, you know, like I had a really bad lack mindset and like impoverished mindset for years of my life. So like, you know, let's invest everything I own into this and this is going to be the thing. And then ADHD kicks in and goes, girl, you're not doing that. You hate that. It's not happening. So
I feel like it's like a conditioning. I feel like it's like a conditioning the way you were raised too. I like if you're born into a family that has a lack money mindset of, you know, all they know is poverty. They don't know anything else. They don't know about manifestation. They don't even know anything outside of the 9 to 5. You're conditioned into that, as well as, you know, going to school and learning about things that probably didn't really happen in the history books.
That's a whole nother
topic for episode number 100, whatever we're on now, Taylor. I don't even know.
Yeah, I know, right? I have no
That's
idea.
a good one though. Let's not open that up. That's why I tell people sometimes when we talk about that, they're like, and then history, I'm like, we can't. I'm not going down that. I will never leave. How long do you want to be here?
Yeah.
How much time you got?
Yeah.
How much time do you have today? I mean, generally, I love when I'm passionate about something, I'll talk forever about it. So it's probably more than just that history topic. I'll just go on a rabbit hole, but
Yeah. We could talk about that for like 4,000 hours, so I get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
cheers.
Cheers.
You?
Yeah, to my
Cheers,
water.
mate. Cheers, mate.
Mm.
I've drank so much water today. I have like an alkalized water bottle that I spent way too much money on to alkalize my water, and it's worth every penny.
Yeah.
Yes,
Great.
yes.
The
And
Dylan
then
water bottle.
I have a mason jar, like showing me up over there with your water bottle. I have a mason jar.
It's okay. I honestly, I've been looking at the Dylan water bottle for so long because the reason why I got this water bottle is because I was spending I feel like a massive amount of money. Like the price of water has gone up astronomically. Like if you want the pH level to be above 9.5 or whatever the max is, it's like you have to spend like $1 million on like water. So I'm like, all right, let me get a water bottle that alkalizes it for me so I can put Poland Springs in here, which it has the, I think the pH of Poland Springs is like 0 to none, and it'll alkalize it in 30 minutes. So I'm like, this is worth the $50, $60 I spent on it.
I was gonna say like 50, 60. Yeah, that's a decent range, I would say. There's also like a lot out there too that I feel like sometimes we need to just narrow it down. Like you can only do so much for yourself in a day, and you'll be like, you have to eat this, and we shouldn't be eating that, and then you have to drink this water, and then you have to do this. I'm like, I'm gonna do 2 today.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do just 2.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
The problem becomes when you overload yourself like that, it's not sustainable. Very few people are fitness buffs, diet buffs, run their business successfully, read, write, take care of their family, whatever, and have hobbies on the side throughout their entire life. That's where fad diets come in, and that's where New Year's resolutions come in because people can't sustain that.
Yeah.
So
that is the most bullshit thing is New Year's resolutions. Oh, I'll wait till January 1st to start my new life. Like, no, start it now, motherfucker.
Yeah, or just,
just
integrate things slowly and don't put the pressure on yourself of perfection. Just try to be pretty damn good all the time because even fitness models or things like that, their career looking like that only ever spans 3 years, 5 years. They don't, they don't sustain that. And those kind of people oftentimes burn out on that where they like later in life, they'll just gain the dad bods because they don't give a fuck anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Like, dude, I did this shit for 12 years. I can't, I'm sick of brown rice and broccoli.
Oh my God. Yeah. Brown rice, plain like boiled chicken. You're like, yeah.
Misery. Just misery.
Total clown shit. I've done it before myself.
Misery.
Yeah.
I'm all set with that.
Oh, that's so good. I honestly, props to the people for doing it like 12 plus years. I love food. That's just a part of my astrology chart as well. That food is like
Taurus or what?
So I have a Taurus Venus. So for me, food is a love language.
Decadent,
like that's the best thing.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. It's terrible though. I'm like, if someone just shows up, especially like if we're dating and then the person just shows up unannounced, food in hand, I'm like, oh my God, marry me right now. What are you doing?
I love that.
Game over.
Yeah, like let's do this basically. Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, I think it's important in a spiritual aspect too. Like you do have to keep an eye on like what you're consuming. Like you don't have to always go crazy. Like indulge too. Like not to be like corny, but like YOLO. Like you have one life, so you might as well enjoy it. But definitely taking some sort of count of what you're like, especially if you're eating fast food or stuff like that, or like processed stuff. I do think that's important, so I try not to do that. But like a charcuterie board, like I fucks with that.
Oh, I fucked with that last night, honey. Some wine, charcuterie board.
Yeah.
I was eating that real quick, and I'm pretty sure I'm allergic to dairy, so I didn't even give a shit.
Oh, absolutely, that too. But you know what? Cheese.
Yeah. I can't go wrong with a sharp cheddar cheese and a nice bottle of wine. I can't go. I'm sorry. I'll take the stomach issues the next morning. I'll deal with it.
Are you eating cheese now?
No, I'm sorry. I'm having some biscuits. Like I think I'm eating my dog's biscuits right. My dog Rocky's biscuits. Yeah, we share them.
I mean, like we wrap in 10 minutes, but whatever. Like biscuit away over there.
I haven't been to the supermarket since I came back from LA, so now I'm eating my dog's biscuits. Deal with it.
God. Oh my God. Hey, so Casey, back on the psychic and Reiki energy, do you do one-on-one clients or do you do seminars or walk us through a little bit of your professional life in the field?
So yeah, I take clients. We do half-hour sessions. I try to not do more than that for tarot because I just feel like tarot, you can only do so much, whereas we might have to move to something else. And I don't want people to get super hung up on that. So I try to like get the most out of that, give them as much information as I can. And then I usually recommend, depending on what we end with, maybe a Reiki session. My Reiki sessions are about 45 minutes, give or take. And I leave it kind of open. If people have questions, we can go a little bit over. I don't mind doing that. And my Reiki sessions have evolved a little bit. So we've been doing a lot of past life stuff with my current clients, which is really awesome. And then I'm working on right now, like I said before, getting the Patreon up so I can maybe start to offer some courses or classes or stuff like that. So
yeah.
Do you do distance Reiki too? I've had that done before.
I am only doing online clients. Because I started with TikTok, so literally my client base is online, all of it. I don't have anybody in person. It's all online. So yes,
love that.
Yep.
That's dope. I gotta get my lash business on TikTok. I gotta get that on there. I feel like everyone that has a business or whatever is excelling extremely on TikTok.
It's crazy. It's definitely, especially when you're doing, like when I go live on Sundays, like that's a majority of where I'm finding people or bringing people in, because you go on, you offer just like, not really getting paid for anything, or you're just going on to talk to people, just being a part of the community. Like the fact that with TikTok, you don't have to be like following people for Instagram. So it's a little bit different. So you just go on, you go to live, it says it up in the top, and you scroll every single person that's going live. Even if it's not someone that's related to what you're looking for in your niche, you see everybody.
Wow. Taylor, get your ass on TikTok. What are you doing?
I'm on TikTok and I fucking follow you and you never followed me back.
I don't use TikTok. That's what I'm saying, Taylor. It's not anything aggressive.
Well, you gotta get on TikTok.
Taylor,
TikTok.
Taylor, I haven't used my TikTok. That's why I'm saying. I just said, like, I haven't, like, tapped into my TikTok. I go on and I don't even, like, look through who I'm friends with and who I'm not friends with. My Instagram is, like, my number.
I think it's personal.
I think you didn't want to follow me back. I'm going to eat my dog biscuit and live my best life, okay?
Oh, man. No, yeah. So here's the thing. Here's my thoughts on a variety of social media.
I can't wait.
Yeah. Every social media platform takes its own time and its own energy, and there's not a lot of crossover. Someone can have 100,000 followers on IG and then like fucking 100 followers on TikTok. So yeah, BA, if you want to go in there, like don't think it's gonna be like just a smooth ride. Like you're gonna have to like put time into TikTok to build it and like answer people's stuff. And is that something you're willing to do?
No, I have too much on my plate right now. I don't have time for that. No.
I think we should just bypass TikTok right now.
No, I
you got one or the other, I think, though. You guys are right about that. It's one or the other. It's very unique for whatever reason. No matter, even YouTube, I feel like it varies across the board. So
I agree. I think we planted our flags on IG and YouTube, and like everything that is beyond that just kind of dilutes the at least the professional presentation. Because when I post something on IG, I get a lot of likes, and I post on Facebook, get like 4 likes. I'm like, well, that makes my business look shitty,
Yeah, but you pick the one that works the best for you, and it's different for everybody. Like I have TikTok, so I try to put all of my time and energy kind of over there.
Right.
Yeah.
I say.
So do you feel like good new?
Yeah.
So do you feel like you've gotten more clients from TikTok out of all the social media platforms?
Yeah, because I was doing YouTube, and that was the main reason that I kind of got into doing like the astrology readings that I do. So I tried to post those, but like that takes a lot more energy, and I was finding that I wasn't really getting what I wanted over there. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna try TikTok when that kind of blew up. And then I was like, oh, this is way easier, because then I think a lot of it is because of the lives, because they push your content. You don't have to be like really searching for it. Like as long as it's in your niche, even with a couple of hashtags, it's like 5 or so you can put on there, you're getting pushed out. And then if you get a good interaction rate, you get a good watch rate, they'll push it out no matter what. So I think it gives everybody an opportunity on TikTok, which is nice.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, Taylor, I know you want to chime in, but I have to say one more thing. So, you know what I've been getting into, and this is like so weird, but like it helps me fall asleep. Hear me out. ASMR, am I saying that right?
Oh my God, yeah, I just last night, me too.
Oh my God.
It's the best. It puts me to sleep.
It is so weird to me that I am like, I can fall asleep. It's like, hello, what's up?
Tell our fans what ASMR is.
Maybe you should do it.
I'm like debating it. I'm like, how do they do this? They put like these like slime things over here, and they just like use their nails. They're like,
That literally, that's it. Like you put like a fuzzier type thing, so that way you get more of a, like you can make the texture if you put like a cover on it, and then that's it. You're just like tapping on a bunch of stuff. Oh my God, you should do it. There you go. It's your new thing.
Oh my God. Okay, do you intuitively feel that I should do an ASMR TikTok? Because I watch it myself and I'm like, I have the nails and I have the conversation.
Yeah, you got the setup too. Oh my God, it'd be easy peasy.
All right, guys, so we're just gonna continue this conversation.
You're like, catch me on live at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes. Hear me eat my dog biscuits.
Oh my God. Donations can be sent to Cash App at... You would be surprised. There are some people really who make a lot of money on ASMR. Like, I mean, a lot of money.
What the fuck is ASMR? I've been.
Oh my God, Taylor doesn't know.
Oh my God, you don't know. Oh my gosh.
No, don't make me feel bad. I'm proud that I
know.
We want to open up your mind to this. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
He
doesn't know. You're like I'm in fucking third grade.
Well, the thing about ASMR is that it's different for everybody too. So it's like some people, I find that they despise it or they really love it.
Let's start with what the fuck it stands for.
I forget what it stands for. You can't get me there. I
don't either.
Yeah, I discovered it on TikTok and I knew it existed, but I never went out of my way. But then I kept seeing them pop up all the time. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna pop into one of these lives. Like they're everywhere. Yeah. But it's just supposed to be like any sound that almost like gives you goosebumps. Like it elicits a more relaxing feeling in the body, and for everyone it's a different sound, so it's really like individual. It's strange.
Taylor, I'm gonna send you I as soon as I log on to TikTok, first of all, I'll follow you so you don't cry yourself to sleep, and then I will send you an ASMR person that I follow.
Oh, you mean an autonomous sensory meridian response?
Correct.
Whatever that be. Yes, I'll send you all the responses. Okay.
Yeah, meridian response. Remember.
Great. I can't wait.
Do you do meridian, bro?
Dude, wait. You didn't make the cut. What was the stupid thing we said? I don't know. Cut.
Oh, I'm gonna cut the cord.
Cut the cord.
Yeah, we're gonna cut the cord.
It's a joke.
Yeah.
All right. So ASMR, I'm gonna send it to you tonight because there's mad people that have lives on TikTok and they're so stimulating. It literally I feel like my crown chakra goes off like.
Oh, it's great. I love it.
So let's I'm gonna take the reins right now. So how do we find you online so people can book sessions with you and get into your badass job life, and how do they book with you? Let's hear it.
So right now you can find me on CaseyLeighReiki.com. That's where you're going to find all my services, how to book with me. And then that's the same thing across the board. So you'll find me, Casey Leigh Reiki, on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram as well. And then hopefully soon, same exact thing on Patreon and Discord too.
Damn. Taylor, how do we find you?
You're finding me right here, baby.
Well,
yeah, more if you want to find me for, deep professional reasons. TaylorFortune.com. Tarot, astrology, life coaching, fitness training, you name it, I do it. Mind, body, spirit coach.
Love it. You guys need some cruelty-free mink lashes? Badass-us.com. On Instagram, says my other account got hacked. Badass Cosmic Lashes is the new one because I had a scammer trying to sell cryptocurrency, my old one. So now we're going to Badass Cosmic Lashes on Instagram. Good and you.
All right, guys. Well, that's a wrap. Casey, thank you so much for joining us. This is a great episode.
Bye, guys.
See you later.
Bye.